let's talk about clustering and correlation. That's the next step after we extract all those features, after you extract the behavior. So once you have everything, you need to cluster it, which means you need to store it in an intelligent way so that those are classified per all those different features that we extracted and the behavior. After that, you need to correlate so that all that information needs to be connected to make sense, okay? So the goal of clustering and correlation is to classify malware based on features and behavior extracted and correlate the information to understand the attack flow, the full picture. So we have clustering, which are basically nodes that we're going to call nodes, which are those different specific objects identified with a specific feature and a specific behavior. Okay, and those different objects creates the cluster, which are based on features, as I said, the timestamp, the imp hash, SSD, digital certificates, all those different features, static features can help us to classify it. Then we have properties. All the behavior that we detected, as you remember, keylogger, downloader, dropper, those are properties for that specific node, but that will help us also, as I said, to segregate. We have a group which has these specific features, but also is a downloader or a backdoor. That can help us to add more context into that specific group, or even segregate more than the clusters. Correlation. Once we have the information, we need to exploit it. How? Via what it is called GraphDB. Basically, you don't want to use a relational database because what you want to know is how you can connect the dots. And relational databases are not designed to do that. That's why it's very recommended to use GraphDB. It is a NoSQL database, and it is just a collection of nodes and hashes. Let me show you a picture. It's basically, as I said, it's just connection between nodes, relationships, and properties. All the different things that we just found, that we just collect, can be interconnected, okay? We're gonna see some examples. And here is the correlation, okay? So basically, this is the final goal, to have from, as you can see at the middle, that specific MD5, which if you go and start analyzing it, you extract features, you extract behaviors, you will realize that, okay, this specific binary probably has a specific key, and then it will drop into specific systems, and then will connect on specific IPs. You know, the full picture of the attack is represented. This is from CrowdStrike that they documented from a specific organized crime organization, but this is exactly what we need to get as a threat intelligence researchers. Okay, so now you have the features, you have the behavior, you put it in a cluster, you put the properties of those different nodes, you classify them. So who is behind? At the end of the day, that's the most important goal, okay? To locate the threat actors behind the malicious clusters identified. So for example, you need to answer these questions. Where are they located? Which country? Who is sponsoring them? Sometimes it's nation state, can be Russia government, China government. What sectors of our industry are they targeting? Okay, so normally the groups are gonna focus on a specific sector, financial institutions, banks, or probably they're just focusing on, you know, nuclear plants. And that also helps you to categorize the threat actors. C2 infrastructure, where are they located? What are the ports being opened? What is the operating system running? All those details help you to understand the C2 infrastructure. Tactics, techniques, and procedures. When you are a threat intelligence researcher, you will be always dealing with TTPs, which means how do they get into the system, the techniques being used, the procedures. All those different skills are going to define that specific group. And here, probably is where you might need help from a reverse engineer, because you will exactly need to know, like, what is the encryption algorithm being used in order to decode the binary in memory? Or for example, where is the malicious code injected? It is in memory, or it is coming from the resources of the binary? All those details. How do you get persistence into the system? Via registry key, COM objects, hijacking, different techniques. That's where reverse engineers can help the threat intelligence researcher. Okay, so you can also know in the initial compromise how they get into the system. Can be a spear phishing attack, can be just Facebook links, fooling people to download malware. That also defines that specific group. Privilege escalation, how do they elevate privilege once they are inside the network? There are different techniques. As I said, persistence. Lateral movement, very important. How do they spread in the network? Different groups use different techniques. It's very important to define that specific group. Exfiltration strategy, how do they steal the information? Is it via HTTP post request? Is via a raw socket? Is via a proxy? How do they do it? And what information they are extracting? What is the format? Okay, so if no threat actor can be identified, the whole threat intelligence effort is useless. At the end of the day, okay, you found malware, you found features, you extract them, you cluster them, and even you detect them, but if you don't know who is behind, you cannot take down the organized crime.